Today we're discussing how to raise a bilingual child. Dr. Bauer, what should parents know about raising a bilingual child?
Well, the first thing I would say is not to fall into the trap of listening to the old myth, which is that if you provide a child with two languages, at the onset they will be confused. Research certainly has debunked that notion, and children are not confused. We do see that in the process of developing those two languages, that they need time to develop both languages. They're not developing one, they're developing two. And so often parents might be concerned that, oh, Johnny is not speaking as much as the other children, or something of that nature. They shouldn't fear that. The child is processing both of those languages. The developmental stages that kids go through, the bilingual child will go through the same things.
Next question is, what can parents do at home to support the child's literacy development in both languages?
So one of the things parents can do, so you have, in answering that question, I would say, what's the context? So let's say you're a parent who speaks Spanish at home and the child is in a context where they're learning English in a different context, or you're in a dual language situation and your child's learning Chinese, but you don't speak Chinese, but you want to promote that. Across the board, one of the things that we know parents can do is to read to their children in whatever language is their language of comfort. That will provide the child with vocabulary that is not just standard vocabulary that comes out of mere conversation, but it's the vocabulary found normally in text type of thing. It gives parents an opportunity to have conversations around those points, and so on. So within the context of a dual language program, for example, parents may look around for read aloud programs that are available through the library, local libraries, and have their kids participate in things like that. Look for playmates. When my children were growing up bilingually, I was on the hunt for playmates. Children who would give them authentic opportunities to use the language. It's not the same when you're communicating with adults, as we know, within a school context. When you're with kids, it's a totally different endeavor. And so creating that opportunity outside of the learning space where kids can have regular playmates and they're using those languages. Giving them authentic reason to use the language beyond interacting with kids, traveling if you can, watching videos in the language that's there, that's appropriate for the age of the child. Overall, showing your interest in this, that communicating to the child, I think this is really cool that you're doing this. Maybe you can teach me a few words. Maybe you can teach me a few statements. All of that communicates to the child that I'm doing something worthwhile. My parents are behind it. They're supporting me. And that creates an environment, I think, that keeps the language growing. We have to always keep in mind that within a U.S. context, English has a lot of power. We don't ever have to say English has power. The children know that. And so you're always swimming upstream to keep them bilingual. So you're always looking for opportunities, and that's the name of the game. It's not, you can't be complacent and say, well, the school will take care of it. If you really want them to be bilingual and you want to sustain that, do everything you can to maintain it.